J. Cole is a super woke rapper that you are too dumb to understand. He is a sort of acclaimed rapper, I guess. I mean, I say sort of because most critics kind of just dismiss his work and think it's okay, but yet he has this super dedicated fan base that seems to think that everything he drops is a masterpiece, that it's some of the most intellectual rap that we've heard in the 2010s and we've ever heard in hip hop. And because he released an album that had no features that went platinum, it was some kind of amazing achievement. Oh, no features, platinum album. Oof. Which would have been great if the album was actually good, because we all know that most rappers include features in their music, and so yeah, it kind of was an exciting thing. But we all know why he doesn't include features, because anyone that would be on his music would wash him. They would wash him. They wash him. And yeah, as you can tell by now, I'm not a big fan of J. Cole. I tried giving Forest Hills Drive a try. I give it many listens. I did a video on it. I explained what it was about it that I just didn't get. And J. Cole, to me, is very uninteresting. He really doesn't say that much in his music. There are like 3 songs on the album, I think, that had good storytelling and good lyricism. Of course, he is decent at that. But generally, across the board, it was just kind of drab. Musically, especially drab. Like, there were like a few tracks that were clearly like the pop songs, but even those weren't anything special. And honestly, if you ask like the greater public at large what song J. Cole has had that's become a hit, they probably couldn't name it, because he is so forgettable, and most of his songs that became hits weren't even that big anyway. And yet we get this very strong fan base that think all of his music is really good and really woke and really intelligent, and you just have to listen to the lyrics, because if you don't, then you're not paying attention properly. And okay, I do listen to lyrics in music. I'm not an idiot. I can understand lyricism. And yeah, generally, I don't think he's anything that special. However, I have made the point in the past that, of course, we're at a point where someone like J. Cole has become so critically acclaimed in that sense with his lyricism, because the bar for rap now is so low. Like, lyrics in hip-hop in the mainstream is dead. Like, there's no lyricism aside from like a few rappers that occasionally get hits, but generally across the board, rap music right now in the mainstream isn't lyrical. So yeah, J. Cole is highly regarded. I mean, yeah, is it annoying that these J. Cole stans don't seem to realize that Q-Tip, Black Thought, Pharoah Monch, Kendrick Lamar, Open Mike Eagle, Killer Mike, LP, ASAP Rock, Mr. Lift, Acrobatic, Odyssey even, like, the list goes on and on and on. Rhapsody, holy shit, No Name, Saba, oh, holy fuck, the list could extend out to like 100 rappers, even more, that are more lyrical than J. Cole. I may even do a video it one day, we'll see, I don't know, I think it'd be kind of funny. But there are so many out there that are so much more in-depth and detailed than he is. And yeah, it's annoying that they don't seem to see that, but at the same time, I get it, you know, I get that they don't, because they're focusing on the mainstream, and mainstream right now, even in pop music, lyrically is weak. And so yeah, I've gone into this J. Cole album like I do with his past few albums, For Your Eyes Only, with a bit of a ugh, because I just know I'm gonna get the same thing. And what did I get? I got the same thing. This is a very short album, honestly. It's 40 minutes. A decent runtime, a decent amount of tracks, not over bloated. He does know how to keep an album at the right length, I must admit. But across this album, I can't really report much. I just don't think there's much here to really praise or really say is anything noteworthy. Particularly with the beats. I was bored by track 4, honestly. I really was. I just did not get anything from the music on this album at all. Like, at all. I just found the beats incredibly dull. I couldn't believe the beat selection he picked for this album. Holy shit, I mean, yeah, sure. We've got nice jazz, soul, like smooth, low-key rap out there. That's great. And of course, you don't need every beat to be banging to make a good song, but you need at least something like that's dynamic about your beats, or you're just gonna not include anything that's exciting. What's interesting about the beats he picked on this album? Like, someone who's a J. Cole fan, tell me, what could you not find in that Sylvan LaCue album that you found here? You'd find better lyrics there, for sure. You'd find better beats, honestly. Same with the Sabbath album. Same with the No Name album, honestly. Any of those artists I just mentioned have very smooth, low-key, soft production, and yet everything about it is so much more just popping than this, honestly. That's the thing as well, I've mentioned before. J. Cole doesn't pop as a rapper. Like, he stays very much at the same tone as the beats are, and you barely focus on the lyrics sometimes because you're just kind of bored with how he sounds. Like, he sounds just so drab and just slow and monotone. I just can't stand it. And no, before you comment and be like, well, you just want a little pump because you don't know what real rap is. Oh, a little pump is like they wear. No. No. No, that's not true at all. People even said that about the Eminem album. Like, you can't use that as an argument. People that critique J. Cole actually listen to hip hop and know that there's so much better out there. No one cares about whether you think that he's better than that J. Cole is better than a Lil Pump or a 6ix9ine. Yeah, obviously, I know that. But he's not that much, like, interesting in comparison to every other rapper I named at the beginning of this video. But this actually segues quite nicely into me talking about the final track on the album, 1985, in which J. Cole fires shots at Lil Pump, and basically any other rapper who's in the mainstream right now, because this could really apply to all of them, honestly. And J. Cole actually spits some serious truth bombs on this track. Easily top 2 tracks on the album. I'll talk about the other one that I think is a really good song too, but first of all, I'm going to talk about this one because he really just digs into all of the mainstream rappers out there who have colourful hair, who have no longevity in the music game. In 3 or 4 years, no one will even remember their names. It's just all completely true. Everything he says on this track was just absolutely on point, and it's tracks like this that make me go, yeah, you know, this is why people say J. Cole is a good lyricist. Because although some of these rappers are hype right now, they really don't have anything special about them. They really are just flashes in the pan. At least a few years later, you know, since Forest Hills Drive, you still see people talking about Forest Hills Drive. And yet, I very much doubt in a few years' time anyone's going to be talking about that 6ix9ine mixtape that dropped this year, or any of XXXTentacion's albums that have dropped over the past year. Kodak Black even, you know, probably Lil Pump, but depending on how well he manages to transform himself, I think he does have potential, but probably he will be another flash in the pan. And it is kind of surprising that he was so good on this track, because throughout most of this album, I don't really think much of the lyrics stand out at any point. It's not that I'm not listening, I just don't think he really has that much to offer. And lyrics aren't even the be-all end-all anyway. I know there are some YouTube critics in the community that I absolutely respect that do value lyrics very highly, and I do too. I've just said many a times though that it's not just about lyrics. You need good music to back up the lyricism. Yeah, I know there are so many albums out there that are very strong lyrically, but you need the music as well, and the music just isn't here on this album. There are no hooks that stand out. There's nothing about his flow that's interesting on any of the tracks. It's the same over and over and over and over and over. It honestly reminds me of Logic. Like, it's so similar to that Logic album that came out this year. There's just like nothing about any of the tracks that really pop, maybe aside from a few on that Logic mixtape that came out, Bobby Tarantino 2, yeah, but those were some of the worst songs, like Every Day. Like, at least J. Cole doesn't go that bad. I mean, I can give him respect for not selling out and making a really shitty pop EDM type track. Then you get tracks like KOD, which is the most uninteresting track you could ever imagine. Like, there's just nothing on this track that he says that makes me go, oh right, okay, Like, I'm just not, there's just nothing on it. And then there's a part where he's like, people will be cramping on my style. Who, who is cramping on your style? Who, who out there is trying to be J. Cole? Who? There's no one out there trying to be J. Cole. There's no one trying to be like you, Jay. No one. Like, if anything, you're trying to be like Kendrick Lamar, and you have been for the past few albums you've dropped. You know, the jazzy production, the conscious lyricism, the flows that you do are so similar to Kendrick Lamar. Like, it's so obvious, and yet no one seems to see it. I mean, yeah, people see it, but like the fans don't seem to see it. Like, Kendrick has dropped albums that are basically mountains higher than what J. Cole's put out, and yet they still seem to hold him to this high regard of lyricism. There's like nothing even comparable. Of course, I do think the track Friends is really strong. I mean, it's such a great track, this one, honestly. Like, the lyrics on this one are so true. He's talking about drug addiction, how it affects you, all the little things that can really mess you up. I mean, it's so refreshing to hear. You never get this, especially now in rap, where you've got like people like Lil Xan, who's like talking about taking Xanax and all the other fucking drugs out there that can mess you up, and you never get the other side to it. So like, it's not like they're glorifying it. I think like rappers like Lil Xan are definitely glorifying it, but like, you never get the other side to it, in which like it can actually really affect you, and you can end up being like someone like Lil Peep who overdoses, and then that's it. It's gone. And J. Cole addresses that, and I really appreciate it. And yet you still get people out there that are like, well, depression, you know, people are depressed, that's why they kill themselves, it's not the drugs. Where are you getting this information from? Do you not know that drugs can actually cause depression? Like, if you're constantly addicted, like if you go a day without it, it can mess with your mental health, your focus. You know, these drugs are like, they come from anywhere. Just any random guy that sells them. There's so much crap in them. It can mess with your brain so much. Like, it can cause the depression. And I think that J. Cole manages to at least address it. And he needs a lot of praise for this track, because I think it's such a rarity in today's climate, when you get so much like glorification. Like, you get Post Malone, so many other artists out there that are just like glorifying it, but J. Cole takes a flip to it, and I think I appreciate it a lot. And generally, there's not much else to report, I don't think. I mean, you have this alter ego, Kill Edward, which I just can't stand the guy's voice. I mean, it's obviously J. Cole, but like, the voice that he uses for this, it's just unbearable. It's like, give me a drink, give me a drink, give me smoke, give me a whatever, whatever. It's just like unbearable. Even if the cut off again isn't like technically a bad lyrically written song, it's just like a chorus like that. I mean, you could have picked a good hook, but yeah, you went for that. Why? But again, I do commend J. Cole for talking about this like conflict he has with like his drugs, and how it like gets him high, but then it's also like making him go down and get worse. Like, it's all really interesting to hear J. Cole actually talk about these things, because it's not often mentioned, should I say. I don't think it's often brought up. So you do get it brought up occasionally, but with someone as prestigious and high as J. Cole, it's kind of cool to see that someone like him is talking about it. But do you get like an A star just because you talked about issues? No, you need good music, and I just think this album lacks good music so badly. Like, I even saw someone say like, "Oh, what are you talking about, man? Like, he's aggressive on this album." He's not aggressive at all. Like, his flows are the same across every track. He's replicating the same over and over. And it would be okay if it was interesting to hear, but I just don't find him exciting at all. So yeah, for me, I don't know. Another average J. Cole album, honestly. I could rate all his albums the same grade, because they just give me the same feelings every time I hear them. So yeah, a D+. D+, I'm sorry, but D+. J. Cole really just needs better beats, I think. More interesting flows. Switch it up. Just switch it up occasionally. Don't do the same thing every song for 40 minutes, because it feels like an hour. Like, it just does. So yeah, that's all I can say, really. Let me know your thoughts on this KOD album from J. Cole. If you think I'm completely wrong, I'm sure many people will, but let me know. Let me know. So yeah, comment below, subscribe to the channel for more reviews, and that's it. That is it. That is it. Have a good day.